Hello and welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann and I am so glad that you are here. It is 29 July, almost to the end of the month, and sadly, almost to the end of our challenge, our Junk Journal July challenge. So let's take a quick look and see what the prompt is for day 29. So it is books. Probably the only thing that I love as much as junk journaling is books, reading books. And I'm a librarian, so I guess that fits. And so I was super excited about this particular prompt and really could not wait to get started. I have a page reserved, as I usually do. And it's pretty far back in my journal because we're pretty far into the challenge. So here we go. I've got this in here because I may use it on another page. I just think it's really sweet. But this is the page that we are doing right now. And just this little mini page. And just for reference, the page behind it, which I think I'm going to use for the last day of the challenge. So this is kind of the colors that we will probably be working with. So more or less the colors that I've been using throughout. I've just got this here just to help keep my vision, my field clear to work. And I do definitely have this yellow here. So when I was thinking about the prompt of books, for me, I always do a summer reading challenge, and I'm a librarian. I like to keep track of the books that I read so that I can share them with friends, with students. And I was going through my stash and I found this. I think this is from back in the day when Smash books were a thing. This was in my Smash book kit, and I loved the colors, especially this corally pink. And I thought it said list, and so I thought, well, this is perfect because, you know, I always make a list of books that I read over the summer, and I could use this to kind of journal that. I do have my year-long list in my daily journaler, but I thought it would be fun to just capture what I read over summer break in this journal. So this is my starting point, but the back of this digital, which is literally just a plain piece of copy paper, is boring and unattractive. And so I grabbed, this is a scrap from another page, and it is almost big enough. So I have to do something here on this edge, or maybe maybe on the inside edge. Yeah, I like that better. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna, I again, don't have a whole lot of a plan. Just gonna see where it takes me. The only thing I really had thought about beforehand, I grabbed some things that I thought might work with this sheet, and I had this on my desk and it seemed like it makes sense. But otherwise, I've just got some items assembled and I'm gonna just kind of see where it takes me. I am gonna put this behind there to protect my page. I almost feel like at some point this needs to become a page in a journal, you know, because it's taken me through so many spreads. But maybe not this one. All right, so that's blue. I think that sometimes when we do a month-long challenge like Junk Journal July, we could potentially start to feel very fatigued towards the end, you know, because we've been working each day, and it can feel a little bit difficult to finish. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit as I work on adding some ink to the edge of this page. Want the edge to feel as distressed as the background paper. One of the ways that I sort of combat that sort of feeling of exhaustion or just kind of being over it that you can run into as you reach the end of a challenge is that when I sit down to do a page, if I'm feeling motivated, I just continue. I release my pages on the day of, but I don't limit myself to working on them that day, partly because I am creating videos and it gets a little challenging to have to produce every single day. So I just, if I'm still motivated to continue, I do another page. And then I can sit down and I can create the videos for several pages at a time. And so I sort of batch the pages, so to speak, and I catch myself or get myself a little bit ahead. And then that way, if I have a couple of days where life takes over, I still don't have that sense of being behind. And if I'm motivated to continue working on pages, then I do that. I had to pause for just a moment to grab a sheet of paper because I realized that I needed something for here, and what could be more perfect for a prompt of book than to have a piece of a book page as part of the page. Just seemed to make sense. So I'm going to trim off some of that extra white at the top that I don't really need. And then I think also I will trim real quick, trim this to length also, right about there. And just quickly trim that. And then I need to obviously put an edge on this, and so I'm just going to arbitrarily choose there. It's as good a spot as any. And so that will go on this page, and I'll hang on to this other piece because I still have journal pages to do, and I can certainly find a place to fit that in. All right, so I don't really think I need glitter glue for this. I think good old glue stick will suffice to glue this down. So we'll just run some glue. Okay. And here we go. Ah, you know what? I should have edged Wiener Schnitzels. And grab my dauber. There we go. Get a little bit of definition to that edge. Okay, so now I feel like I've got a great page to respond to. So I'm going to come back to my bucket list card here. The one problem that I have with this card is that the pre-printed card is set up to be a bucket list. Get it? The bucket and then list. And while that's cute and fun and certainly could work as a really fun page in the journal, it's not going to work for this prompt. So I looked in my stash and I found this image that I have from some digital kit somewhere, and it's been sitting in my stash for probably 2 or 3 years, maybe longer. And I thought it would be perfect just on top here to cover over the bucket and to be my list. So again, I'm gonna just use my glue stick because I don't think it needs a whole lot. Use my glue stick, and now this image is slightly larger than the card, so I will have to trim it, I'm realizing, which is not a big deal. Just grab a quick pair of scissors. Now I'm only going to trim it on the sides because I don't want to lose any of the image itself, so it'll just end up being a little higher than normal. And because I trimmed it, I have to go back one more time and edge it. So a little less color, but now I have something that fits, that works with this page. And I need just to add something else to the page here. So one idea that I had, so this is a sticker book that someone gave me, and I really liked this sticker. It has a lot of the oranges in it that I've used on other pages, and it's also got this blue. So I thought it was fun, and it kind of has a little bit of a boho vibe to it. So I thought I would grab this sticker and find a place to use it on the page. Actually, it might just be interesting right there. Yeah, I kind of like that. Just a little bit of layering and build up there. Okay, that works. And then I have this just sitting on my desk. And I kind of like the play of this, and then also a little bit of yellow there. This is obnoxious though. And if it's going to hang over, I want to tone it down a bit. So I'll just use some of this ink, and then I can glue that and let it extend up a bit. I also think, you notice this, it's made to be a tag, so it's got this little spot that you're supposed to punch out. So I'm digging through all of my hole punches to find the tiny one, so I can punch that hole out. And yeah, like that. Put these all back. And in a way, this almost looks a little bit like a bookmark. I'll have to look and see if I have any thread. Let me go look through my threads and see if I have anything that would work with this page that I could loop through to kind of give it a kind of a bookmark feel. Give me just a moment, I'll be right back. So the page is about the list, right? Not the little bookmark here. But I also want it to make sense. So I grabbed this yellow, and I hate it, so I'm definitely not using that. This orange is kind of fun. It works with the orange here. I'm looking for something that'll help pop the page a bit because it feels a little flat. And I'm not sure, even though I really like this and I love the texture, I'm not sure that this is the right choice. But then I have this, and I love that it pulls some of the pink from here. So I think I'm gonna actually go with this. And it's also really thin, which I love. And let's see, how much do I want? I think maybe that much, and I think I'm gonna double it over. So the other good thing about doing this is that it fills up that hole, which was a little bit of an obnoxious bright white, and tones that down a bit. Okay, so I've got my 2 loops. The texture of this is super fun, but it makes it very challenging to finagle. Oh, I absolutely love that. It's super fun. Probably longer than it needs to be. Maybe trim it to there. Try and find someplace else to use these little bits because they're gorgeous. And I think I'm gonna glue that down. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it down. Just gonna do it. Now on this, I'm gonna use, I am gonna use the art glitter glue rather than the glue stick, because it's sticking off the edge, just because it's likely to get grabbed, and I really want it to stay stuck. Let me move this out of the way. I want to do something to get this to pop off the page a bit. I don't think that's it either, although I really do love this. Oh, maybe the red. No, it needs to be something that color-wise is going to contrast this a bit. I do have this blue, but that doesn't work with this background. Maybe the green? I don't mind that. Let's see what happens if let me flip it over. Let's see what happens if I trim this down. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the right thing or not. So we will try it out and see. And if it's not the right choice, then the worst thing is that I've cut up a little bit of paper and I don't need it. So just a slight hint of the green. Okay, I actually don't mind that. The only thing that makes me sad is I'm losing this, but I don't want to lose this sticker, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it. All right, I think that works. So let's go ahead and put some glue on here. Since I'm gonna write on this, and I find that sometimes the art glitter glue feels bumpy underneath of the surface when I'm writing. So I'm gonna just use the glue stick. Okay, I'm not quite ready yet to glue that down. I want to make sure that there's nothing else that I want to do with this. I feel like it needs some text or something. Now, of course, I will have the prompt text, which is just the number and books. I'm going to go ahead and do that now and see where I might want to include it. I typically don't do this until the end, but I had a thought, and that was that potentially I could include it here, right, so that it would tie in, but I don't like that. I could also put it over here, which I think I like a little better, or maybe over here, kind of vertically. So I've got a couple of options that could work. I'm gonna decide like I said, I feel like it needs just one additional thing, maybe a quote or something. So let me look through my stash, see what I have, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I've got a plan. So the first thing that I'm gonna do actually is grab my black ink and my dauber, and I'm gonna go around the outside because I never edged the green card. I'm actually gonna go around the edge of this card with black. Because as I've been looking at this, all of these soft light colors, they need something darker to contrast to make those pop. And that definitely does help with this. So I'm glad that I had that idea. So I think I'm gonna go ahead first and adhere this down. And this is starting to get a little thick. And in my experience, particularly on these smaller pages, when I use something thick, if I just use the glue stick, sometimes it has a tendency to pop up. But if I use the art glitter glue, it is almost certainly going to stay in place. So I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, the next thing that I thought, I've had this, I've been trying to figure out where to use it, and I think this is just the nicest little sweet thing to tuck right there. That's gonna actually be the last thing that I glue down because I'm going to put this label on this tab. It's there, it's from the other side, but I'm gonna use it here and let it make sense with the spread that I've got here. And then I can glue my little doodad down here. And that's, I think, just the little something something that this cluster needed. I also like that there's sort of a roundish shape to contrast all of the squares. Actually, let me zoom in just a little bit here. All right, and then I found this quote. It says, "Always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder." And I always feel a little bit like that when I'm reading. Like I'm always waiting for something wonderful to happen, or to learn something new, or discover something new. And that just sort of feels like it fits. So I'm gonna add that here along this edge. I got a little bit of black from the ink and smudged it. I'm a little irritated with myself. Oh well. So I have some black here to balance the black over there. And I think that's it. Not as complicated of a page today, and I'm okay with that. I still think it's pretty, and I've got a spot where I can capture my reading list for the summer. I think that is it for me today. I hope that you had fun watching, and that you make some time for yourself to be in your space and create something beautiful. And until next time, I hope that you make a great day.